Schadenfreude is a German term that translates to malicious joy or pleasure derived from the misfortune of others. In this video, we will first explore the three types of Schadenfreude. Then, we'll delve into the preferred victims of those who experience this emotion, and finally, we'll discover which people tend to feel Schadenfreude the most. Let's begin by examining the three types of Schadenfreude. Aggressive Schadenfreude. This occurs when members of a group take pleasure in the misfortune of those who are not part of their group. The concept here is that if we can't win, it's only fair that you don't win either, a rather defeatist mentality, but so it goes. Justice-based Schadenfreude. This type is quite straightforward. It's the feeling we experience when someone finally gets what they deserve. For instance, it's the satisfaction we feel when a murderer or a scammer is rightfully convicted for their wrongdoings. With this form of Schadenfreude, we perceive that their suffering is deserved. Rivalry-based Schadenfreude. This type is driven by social comparison. For example, if you have a coworker you can't stand, and they fail miserably in a job interview for a managerial position within your company, you might experience Schadenfreude because your rival has returned to their previous social status within the company. The difference between this type of Schadenfreude and the one based on justice lies in the focus of attention. While justice-based Schadenfreude centers on evaluating the misfortune suffered by the person, rivalry-based Schadenfreude depends on evaluating our own social status. In other words, this theory connects Schadenfreude to another human emotion, envy. Envy is a negative emotion that makes us feel inferior to the person we envy. When the envied person experiences a setback or disappointment, they become less enviable in our eyes, thus reducing our negative feeling of envy and providing us with a sense of relief. A drop in their social status automatically boosts our self-evaluation, making us feel good about their misfortune. In this sense, envy creates a favorable environment for Schadenfreude. Stereotype Content Model, SCM. Now, let's explore the preferred victims of those who experience Schadenfreude. Interestingly, it's not necessary to have been wronged by someone to feel Schadenfreude. This emotion can arise when a member of a stereotyped group experiences pain. According to the Stereotype Content Model, SCM, people are generally stereotyped based on their perceived warmth and competence levels. To better understand this, let's see the world through the eyes of an average citizen. A highly warm and competent group could be the middle class, which elicits admiration. On the other hand, the elderly might be considered highly warm but incompetent, leading to feelings of pity. The wealthy, as a group, might be seen as low warmth but high competence, evoking envy. And finally, a low warmth and competence group, such as drug addicts, might provoke disgust. In an experiment using this model, researchers showed participants random images of members from the admiration, pity, envy, or disgust groups. The participants were then asked to imagine a randomly assigned scenario for that person. Facial sensors were used to measure their facial expressions. Generally, participants smiled when something positive happened to members of the admiration, pity, or disgust groups. However, whenever something negative happened to a member of the envy group, the participants smiled much more than when something positive occurred to them. People tend to be reluctant to admit deriving pleasure from seeing others suffer, especially if the person is a stranger on whom they are making assumptions. Thus, using facial muscle measurements was a clever way to overcome this problem. The different styles of attachment also play a role in experiencing Schadenfreude. Secure attachment style individuals show trust and empathy in their relationships and have a positive self-view and view of others. Avoidant individuals, on the other hand, are emotionally detached and fear intimacy, resulting in a lack of empathy and prosocial behaviors, which, in turn, increases Schadenfreude. Anxiously attached individuals are highly sensitive in stressful situations. Since they already experience considerable personal distress, in the form of anxiety, they avoid increasing it by empathizing with the suffering of others. Consequently, they try to diminish the seriousness of others' suffering simply by laughing at it. These might be the individuals who react to Facebook articles about wars, pandemics, etc., with the laughing emoji. In conclusion, although Schadenfreude might seem quite negative, it is a natural emotion within certain limits, beyond which it could become a serious problem. So, the next time you feel happy because your ex has just been dumped by the person they cheated on you with, enjoy the moment without feeling guilty. After all, if the roles were reversed, they'd probably do the same.